not be doing the analysis alone. We'll be talking to a coach in Switzerland, Anthony Adedeji. He's a football coach. He'll be talking to us on how well we can actually get this under 17 better. The plus I'm taking away from this under 17 team is because one, they're talented. Number two, the fact that most of the players, we're able to get players from the secondary school into the team. That is a plus. You don't need overage players to do this. So it's developmental. And so these players that have been taken, hopefully they can keep them together. So the next on the 23 Olympics, you don't have to start looking for players across the world. You have the bedrock right here. So these players also, in the next 2 years, you can have them actually, playing at the upper level. When we have Anthony Adedeji, he will join us from Switzerland to talk more about this. Let me go to Austin quickly on the, good evening. It's good to have you join us, Coach.
Good evening. It's nice to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you for joining us. Quickly, a quick one. Your overall view about the Golden Eaglets' performance right there in Algeria.
First and foremost, let me say it's a pathetic day for all fellow Nigerians and lovers of Nigerian football all over the world. I just want to say my overall view and assessment over the Golden Eaglet is all about the coaching input was not good enough. We have a good players, we have a good young boys that Induka Ogbade himself has fished out from every academy and secondary school in Nigeria, which he has done a very good job. But unfortunately, his tactical and technical input cost us this World Cup ticket, because you can see how not so organized in the defense line that make us to concede so many goals that do not allow to be in the World Cup. But for me, I would say kudos to the boys because they give it all.
All right. I mean, you just mentioned maybe I'm thinking you just mentioned that the coach doesn't, the technical ability of the coach. That's what you're faulting for the loss against Burkina Faso. But if you look at the game critically, I mean, after them missing chances and that mishap, by Ogoji, and then Burkina Faso took advantage of that. They had several chances. What could he have done in that aspect to correct those mistakes, going into second half, and maybe if he had done some changes, getting the better of the boys, as you mentioned, they are well talented.
Okay, let me come as a coach perspective. Football is all about tactical discipline and technical discipline. As a coach, when you first thing you need to know very more in technical aspect of football is you have to have the eyes to read the game, to understand the weakness and strength of the opponent and your team also, that you can be able to help them to move in coordinative movements in the third half of the field. When you see what really happened in that game, you can see that the boys, they have individual quality, but collectively they lack something that they needed from the coach, the input from the coach. And that is why you see the anxiety and the anxious in them makes them to be playing faster than their capacity. And that is the input of the coach to tell them when to calm down, to organize them from the sideline, to make them to understand that they are going beyond the philosophy of the game plan. But when you listen to Ndugba Ogbade in his interview, he said he has a boys that can fight for 90 minutes, that can run for 90 minutes. That means to say what the input he put in them is for them to go into the field, try to outrun your opponent with your strength, not the collective play. So that is the reason you saw him from the first match to yesterday, the fourth match. They stay in the same playing for information, which is playing 4-2-3-1. And it makes other coaches that have a good technical ability to study how you play, to outplay you. That is why you see our players, and we have that one problem I said before. The structure and the shape of the defense line, it is not well organized, and that cost us the 2 goals that we conceded. If you watch out the match, the goals we conceded against South Africa is the same thing from the defense line. So when you talk about the attacking players that is missing goal chances, that is where you have to let them to know that when you come to the penalty box, it is where you have to be more intelligent and use cleverness for you to score goals. So you don't have to put anxiety while putting the ball in the back of the net. That's what cost us in that match yesterday and all the match.